Hello. Hi friends. Welcome to this video, which is part of the tips and tricks series. This is the first video in this series and I intend to share some quick tips with you which will help you to do your things faster and improve your productivity. In this video, we are going to talk about how to enable auto suggestions for PowerShell. If you worked on Mac or on Linux and if you used OMyZSH, that has nice set of plugins. And we can use something like Autosuggestion or Autocomplete, which gives us suggestions based on the history of the commands that we have executed. Now here I'm in my Windows terminal and I'm using PowerShell Core as the terminal or as the shell. And let's say I want to execute a command here. Let me start with kubectl as the command. And if I type kubectl and I do tab completion or try to do autocomplete, I get only kubectl.exe. I don't get any auto suggestions or I don't get much help here. So what I would like to do is to enable auto suggestions based on the history of the commands that I have executed. Now many people have asked me, how do I get this prompt which shows like what is the Git branch I'm working on and what is the status of my branch. To enable this on your Windows terminal and PowerShell, there is a wonderful post which was done by Scott Hanselman today. He wrote a nice long set of blog post and he also did a video which coincidentally was released today itself. This talks about how to set up an awesome prompt with your Git branch, Windows terminal, PowerShell and Cascadia code. So I have done almost the same kind of setup and that is how I get all these color coded features or different colors for my Git branches. So I highly recommend that if you want to set up similar your terminal in the same way, you follow this YouTube video by Scott Hanselman, and there is also a blog which accompanies this video. So I will put a link to this video at the bottom in the description of this video. So what we are going to do is we enable auto suggestions for the PowerShell. Now in order to do that, since I'm using PowerShell Core, I have the profile of my PowerShell user created in the profile section. In order to modify the profile, I can use Visual Studio Code and I use the environment variable as profile and it will open Visual Studio Code with the PowerShell profile, and the location of this file is in my users directory under documents PowerShell, and it's named as microsoft.powershell_profile.ps1. So this file currently contains the setup for importing the posh git module, omyposh, and setting the theme as paradox. This is exactly same as what Scott Hanselman also does in his YouTube video and the blog post. And on top of that, I have done some customizations for enabling child color items and things like that. In order to enable the auto suggestions, we need to use a PowerShell module which is called the PSReadLine. So if you look at the GitHub repo of PSReadLine, it says that this module is inspired by the bash. So it tries to give bash-like features to the command line, and this is available since PowerShell 3 version. It has features like syntax coloring, error notifications, multi-line support, and I will again put a link to this particular GitHub repo and you can go through this list of features that it supports. Now in order to have the auto suggestions, I need to import this PSReadLine module in my profile, and then I need to set some key handlers or set some properties. The first one we are doing is we use this Set-PSReadLineKeyHandler command and then we set the key and we map the tab key to a function MenuComplete. So what this will do is it will give us the function completion like in bash. So if I type a partial command and I press tab, it will help me to complete that command. And then for auto suggestions or auto completions, we set a couple of options. First one is the PSReadLine history search commands moves to the end. So this will move the command cursor to the end of the command. And then we have the up arrow and down arrow keys mapped to the HistorySearchBackward command and HistorySearchForward command. So what this will do is, let's say I type command, for example, I have executed kubectl get pods, and then I have executed kubectl get nodes. So when I type kubectl and then I press the up arrow, it will use the context of kubectl and it will try to show me only the commands which were executed in the context of kubectl instead of just going back to the previous command. So let me show this here before I modify the profile. So let's say I execute kubectl get nodes command here. Sorry, I misspelled that. So get nodes, and although there is no output here, we can see that I have executed one command, and then I do kubectl get pods. So again, I will not get any output here because I don't have a cluster or a context which is set to a Kubernetes AKS cluster. But I executed two kubectl commands here, and if I do kubectl and then I press the up arrow key, it just takes me back to the previous command which was executed. So if I just keep on going up after pressing 2 or 3 commands or up arrows, it took me to the code profile command which I executed. This is not what I wanted to do. So what I wanted was, when I have the kubectl as a context and I press up arrows, it should show me only the commands related to kubectl which I had executed in the past. So that is what we are trying to do here with this up arrow key mapping. The function which is mapped is the history key backward. And similarly, we are doing the mapping for down arrow key. And we also set a PSReadLine option for showing the tooltips. The most important part is this, which is line number 22. So here we are setting the PSReadLine option for prediction source. And what this prediction source will do is, it will try to predict the command that we are trying to execute based on the history of the commands that we have executed. And then finally, on line number 25, I am setting the PSReadLine colors option. So this also gives us the capability to set colors which needs to be specified for different kinds of actions. So if I go on the command prompt here and I say get PSReadLine options, or let me show it to you when I enable it, because I think it's easier if I set this option and then try to execute that command. So now I have saved these added lines from line number 11 all the way till line number 25, which were added. So in the prediction case, I'm setting the prediction color as dark green. And since I've modified the profile, I need to reopen this same PowerShell Core shell in order to take those settings into effect. So now I have enabled the auto suggestion and those settings. So let's go and try the cd command. So you can see here that previously I had executed cd, and then it recognizes that I have executed this change directory command, and it tries to give me the suggestion that I want to move to this PD TechFest 2019. So let's say yes, I want to go into this folder, and now I want to execute the kubectl command. So the moment I start typing kube, you can see that it tries to recommend me kubectl get pods as the command based on my previous history. So I go here and let's say I type kubectl, and now I want to cycle through all the commands which are related to kubectl. So here you can see, as I am now pressing the up arrow key, it's showing me only the commands which were executed with kubectl, and it doesn't go back to the previous command which I had executed in the history. So this is that context part of kubectl, and now I'm actually pressing the down arrow key, and it's also bringing the commands which were in the history below. So I've gone like 4 or 5 commands behind, and then if I press the down arrow key, it will reduce the counter and it will bring back the history in the descending order or ascending order. So once I have this, so let's say I want to execute get pods command, I can just press the for tab here, and it will give me the complete command, and I can execute this. The other part which is related to the auto completion is I can type kubectl and I can type the tab here, and it will show kubectl exe, and it will try to give me the options that I can choose from here. So this is again the auto completion which we were talking about. So this way, using the PS readline, we can enhance the experience and the productivity of the developers by enabling auto suggestions and auto completions. I hope this was useful. So these are the lines which enable us to do that. So I will publish this, the link to this particular profile file as well in my description of this particular video. Thank you for watching this.